How's it going, everybody? Welcome to the channel. This is Big Daddy Dave, and this is a map tour for a new mod map on Farming Simulator 25 for PC and Mac only called No One's Land. And we're going to start with the description from the mod hub, and it reads, The Last Frontier. This is a 4x survival map for single or multiplayer. Have tons of fun and build a massive farm from scratch, testing your survival skills to the max. Compete against other players and compare results playing in multiplayer games. The map has 16 farmlands, no fields. You have to make your own. There is a basic startup equipment and startup farm setup to get you going. Good farming. This is a other/fantasy map. It was created by Farmer Bob and is 80.77 megabytes to download. If we take a look at the map, this is what it looks like. We start out by owning farmland number 8, as you can see here, and that is our main starting farm, which is, all with the clustered icons here, and the rest of it is grass. It's just grass fields. That's basically all it is. You don't actually start with a field. You don't even start out with grass. I'll explain that one a little bit later. So yeah, you get a pretty good array of buyable land, but it's expensive because it's massive. Taking a look at your farm, like the part you own, it's 265 acres. That is a big chunk of property, and you can buy it or sell it for over $1 million. But property right next door, basically $1 million at 246 acres, 251 over $1 million, 244, 243. I mean, it's massive. It's so huge in price. But you do get this little chunk down. Oh, there it goes. This little chunk down here, $285,000, but that's mostly because it's just this little sliver down here, and there's really not much land per se. There's a little bit just outside of the kind of buy point, sell point area that they have established down here. They got a little bit smaller one, or a little bit bigger one right here for almost $500,000, but then it gets bigger again. It gets bigger pretty quick. But long story short, you've got some range, but you're going to be able to build it up pretty quick if you, are kind of, I don't want to say if you're kind of smart with your time, but you utilize the land properly. You do not start without. You don't start with any animals. Oh, and you know what? That was something else. You can buy all the land, as you saw. You can buy this little area down here that has all the sell points on this portion of it. You can buy this one above it, and again, you get access to all the land. You do have this little area down here that's all water, so I don't really count that as buying all the map. That's kind of out of bounds, anyways. So you can buy all the land that can be played on. There we go. We do not start with any animal pens. Contracts are technically available. We have kind of like wood transport. I would presume there's maybe even rock breaking contracts on here as well. So basically all the ones that don't involve a field. There are no production points to start out with, but there are some on the map itself for you to purchase later. And there are collectibles on this map, 25 of them to be precise. If we take a look at mods specific to this map, starting out under the Buy menu, there's no mod and DLC tab on this page, so no mods specific to this map. And then under the Build menu, if we take a look, there's absolutely nothing under Buildings, Productions, Animals, Decorations, or Landscaping. So all of that, there are no mods specific to this map. Now we do start here at the starting farm, so let's take a look at some of our starting equipment. We go to this screen here, go to Vehicles. We have a Agrimaz POV 5XL plow, the Amazon Senio 4000 Super cultivator, the FarmTech DPW 1800 flat deck trailer. We have a Great Plains Solid Stand 1500 seeder, the International Series 200 pickup truck. We have a Crampy Half By HP 20 trailer, a Massey Ferguson 7S155, and the Thunder Creek Equipment FST 990 fuel trailer. And that's it. I mean, we start with bare bones basic stuff. So let's go ahead and make our way into the starting farm and take a look at what we have here. So over here, we have a lime station, little lime buy point. Right here, we have AI helper Walter. We have a this is the buildable log cabin to where you can bring all the kind of materials over here and be able to produce and create your home, your sleep trigger eventually. Right here is the buildable farm garage, and then a silo. That's it for your starting farm. Now, let's go ahead and hop into our truck here. Pan out just a bit. Now, we have a long way between different points of interest on this map. So I'm going to go ahead and fast forward it here and catch you when we get to the next point of interest. All right, so we're coming up here clear to the other side of the map. And as you can see, underneath the tree over there is AI helper David. So now, going to cut us back out again, get us to the next place. All right, so we are here in the kind of cell area that we have available on this map. So over here, we have our repair trigger. And then over here is the shop trigger. Now we'll come out the back side over here. Now around this side of the building, we have the Grain River Silo right here. This is a sell point. On the back side of the building there, that's AI helper Ben. And the farmer's market sell point is right there. We also have another sell point for the farmer's market right there. On the back side over here, we have our slurry buy point right here. Manure buy point right here. On this side, animal dealer sell point right there, and the animal dealer. Now, if you have any pens and pastures placed down on the map, you can come to this location and use this icon here to buy your animals, or you can use this same icon at any of the pens and pastures to do the same thing. But if you use this icon directly, you will incur an additional fee. That fee is associated to a delivery fee. The animal dealer is delivering the animals from this location to wherever you have your pens and pastures set up around the map. Now, to kind of give you a little bit of context here, it's $100 per adult cow, and it does vary based on the species and age of the animal. Now, if you want to save that money, bring an animal trailer to this location, parking it within this hazard box area, and then clicking on this animal dialog box. With that thing parked inside, you'll be able to then load your animals into the animal trailer. Rather than it being delivered for you, you then have to take the animals to the pens and pasture yourself. You will save that money. So, yeah, if you're needing to buy like 100 cows at $100 a pop, that's going to add up pretty quickly. So, might be worth investing in an animal trailer. All right, over here, we have a gas station right here. And then our last point of interest is the sawmill and AI helper Noah right there. Sawmill is $150,000 to purchase, and we will go ahead and purchase it. And you can see we put in our trees and we get out the planks long, and wood beams. Now, one thing to note is that this is one of these small sawmills, which means that you will not get the prefabbed walls. But we have wood chips that come out there. We have our input right here with a wood cell trigger right over here. And then over here we have our various outputs for our products. And that's it. That is everything here on No One's Land. Now is time to, well, first I'm going to show you something, then I'm going to render my opinion. So what I want to show, I need to come over here to the shop, and I need to do a couple of things. First off, I need to buy a tractor. I'm just going to buy this Fendt here. It's got more than enough horsepower I need to get everything I need. I need to buy a mower. We'll go ahead and buy this front deck mower here. And then we need to buy a mulcher. So we'll go here and we'll get this one right here. Okay. So I'm gonna get hooked up to all this various equipment. And then once I get hooked up, I'm gonna show you a little bit of something that's going on this map. So you start out with a lot of property, and that property is all covered in grass, or at least what you would think is covered in grass. So next thing we got to do is we need to purchase some land. So I'm going to purchase farmland number 15 and 11, just to make sure that I've got all my ducks in order here. So if you were to come up to this grass, or really any place where you could mow or where you think you should be able to mow, we drop down this mower here and start mowing, you'll see nothing's being left behind. Absolutely nothing's working here. So what happens is that, also note that this will not regrow if you leave it in this state. But check this out. If you go through and mulch everything first, back up just a little bit. See how all that grass just popped in there? That is what you're looking for. So if you go through and mulch everything first, you will then, for free, place down grass. And you'll be able to just go ahead and utilize the grass in the normal cycles from there on out. So you don't have to paint it and spend money on painting it or anything like that. You can go through and just do this. Just mulch it. You know, you could also use something like the Bednar Batwing by Gaming Joy from the mod hub there. Basically looks like the same exact thing as I'm using on the back of this tractor here. And it gives you multiple different selections, such as being a mower, such as being a mulcher, such as being a swathing mower, so on and so forth. Like all those different things that you can do in order to, do exactly what I'm talking about here. But like I said, all you do is you just go through and you mulch everywhere first. Then once it's all mulched, it will plant down this grass and you'll be able to go from there. So now that I've showed that off, now it's time to render my opinion, let you know what I think. 0 to 5 scale as per usual. Let's go ahead and disconnect from this. Disconnect from that. All right, so I like this map. I like it a lot. So let's take a look at the color palette. I think the color palette is meh. It's kind of borderline for me. And the reason I say that is as you go around, you get these very big pops of color, the reds and the pinks, from the wildflowers that are just growing in bushels. And it's one of those where, and yeah, you saw that. There's going to need to be some things addressed, but we're going to start with the kind of normal stuff first. You can see the kind of flowers I'm talking about right here, just in huge bunches, but with the mulching technique I just showed, you can delete them and be able to put in whatever you want. It's not the end of the world. Can I cut through? Nope, cannot. I cannot cut through there. So it's one of those, like, that's not great, but it's not the end of the world. It's certainly fixable. Then you look at the terrain and the undulations. Oh man, is it awesome. It's flat out. It's awesome. I absolutely adore the way that this map is laid out. I love this little tunnel that or not even tunnel, but like passageway is probably the best way I can describe it. That leads into the whole sell point area right here. I think that's fantastic. Just having to come through and just very gently kind of wind and twist and turn your way through this little crevice in the earth to be able to get up to this kind of upper valley right up here. And then the whole terrain just kind of naturally goes from a high elevation in the north to a low elevation in the south where it kind of meets up with the sea. It's incredible. I love it. And right there next to your starting farm, you're right next to a giant river where if you're careful, you might be able to get water out of it. I'll show you what I'm talking about. But yeah, there's a lot of stuff going on. There's a lot of stuff. Now, I already showed you one of the kind of flaws that are with this map. That lamppost that's sticking up. One of the other flaws that is very prevalent in this map, here, let's just do this. Instead of driving around, let's go ahead and just zip our way over. There. So now we're back here at the starting farm. Now, I mentioned earlier that we have the buildable cabin and the buildable garage right here. The problem is, normally you're supposed to be able to walk up to this and it tells you in the bottom right hand corner what is needed in order to start the construction of this. Problem is it doesn't tell you that. Now, I'm coming here to show you that I do have the interactive zone marker turned on and the field info turned on, which means there's something going on here. Now, I hoped that if I came in the build menu, well, worst case scenario, I might be able to destroy this and kind of, and kind of go from there. Now you can see how I can highlight and hover over and it turns blue, but I can't delete it, which means that you're stuck with this and it's not telling you what you need to bring in order to start this. So this might be broken. I don't know if you'll be able to just bring something here and it would actually just start working. I'm not sure. Same thing with this one over here. You walk up to it and there's nothing it tells you that it needs, kind of thing. Oh, and you have a repair trigger right here. I forgot to tell you that. Yeah, little repair trigger right there. But, I mean, so there's those kind of small little flaws on this map. It's, again, not devastating. It's not the end of the world. You can utilize it. You can, in theory, utilize it, but you're going to have to test it out and see if it actually works for you. Then, I mean, just so those kind of things are there. They're there, and it's kind of a bummer. Now, what I do like about this map is you got this huge river right here. And what I think this is supposed to be is a fill point area for your tankers and stuff. It's supposed to just back down into this little gorge right here, into this little ravine, and then go to the river and fill up from there. Maybe, kinda, I don't know. But you do have this as well. This little kind of walking path here. Now, one thing is that these are just actual trees that I think are just kind of planted here. I think you can bring a tree devourer and destroy most of these. I was able to get some of them. These big ones down here on this end were a little bit difficult to destroy, but I was using just a normal tree destroyer or tree mulcher rather than the actual tree devourer. So I'm not sure if maybe you'll be able to get better results with different sets of implements. But I mean, just overall, the nice topography is nice. The way this map is set up is really nice, and you're going to have tons and tons and tons of work to do. I mean, you start out with a massive chunk of land. It's huge, the amount of area that you're working with on this map. But again, you can see what I'm talking about with these wildflowers right here. Like, they are huge and they just pop out, and there's that slight air of cartoonishness, but there's solutions around it, so I'm not going to hold it too far against it. So all in all, what do I think of this map? 0 to 5 scale as per usual. I think this map is a solid 4. I think that the issues that are on here are issues. They're going to need to be addressed by the map maker, but I think that a lot of the issues as well are solvable by the player. You can buy the kind of shopping area, the sell points, the buy points down in the south there, so you can dress it up and kind of snazz it up as you see fit. You don't have to be kind of satisfied with how it's set up. If you think that it could use a little bit more decorations or pop pizzazz, whatever you want, you can do it. Now, the other part that I'm not crazy about on this map is you come up to the periphery, the border of the map, and it just kind of off into nowhere. It's just not there. So that to me is a kind of a negative about this map, but it's again, it's not going to be the end of the world. There's tons to do on this map. You're going to have forestry to do. You're going to have grass work. You're going to be able to build your fields and eventually your farms, all that stuff. But because you start out with so much land and all that, you're going to be able to get pretty well established pretty quickly and kind of go from there. And again, if you utilize your resources well enough, you'll really be able to get something out of this pretty quickly, I think. But yeah, 4 out of 5. I think this is a pretty good map. It's very solid. You can see, again, just look at the nice terrain and topography that's on this map. You're going to have a lots and lots of fun building up and just doing stuff with this map. It's going to be tons and tons of fun. But I hope you enjoyed this map tour, and if you did, please show them by liking, sharing, subscribing, following, commenting, doing all the things the algorithms enjoy you doing. It shows you engage with this channel and enjoying the content. And that being said, I hope everybody has a fantastic day. Take care.